Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone living the life you dreamed of, the body you want, the business you wish you had, the freedom you crave, and thought, well, what do they have that I don't? I'm here to tell you the truth. They're not smarter, not luckier, not more gifted than you. They simply think differently. They believe differently. And because of that, they act differently. You see, everything you desire, every goal, every dream, every breakthrough already exists in potential form. It's waiting for one thing, for you to align your mind, your hunger, and your actions with it. Most people don't fail because they can't do it. They fail because they never decide to truly go after it. They let fear whisper louder than their faith. They let their circumstances define their vision instead of their vision redefining their circumstances. But not you, not today. Because today, you're going to learn the formula that every high achiever lives by, the same pattern that creates champions, leaders, and dream makers think it, want it, get it. When you learn how to control your mind, ignite your desire, and take relentless action, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, you can't achieve. So I want you to stay with me, because over the next few minutes, I'm not just going to inspire you. I'm going to show you exactly how to turn your thoughts into things, your wants into wins, and your vision into victory. Are you ready? Let's go. You know, everything you've ever achieved, every moment you've ever transformed your life, it all began with a single thought. A thought so small, so quiet, that most people don't even notice when it passes by. But that thought, if you feed it, if you focus on it, if you give it emotion, becomes the blueprint for your reality. Your mind is the architect of your life. It's the control center of everything you are and everything you become. The problem is most people are building their lives on autopilot. They're letting fear, doubt, and limitations sketch the plans instead of vision, belief, and purpose. They don't realize that every time they think, I'm not enough, or that's not possible for me, they're literally laying down bricks in a wall that blocks their own potential. I've met people who had every reason to fail, no money, support, no education, but they built an unstoppable life because they mastered one thing, their thoughts. They decided to take control of the conversation in their own minds. Because listen, if you don't program your mind, world will do it for you. And trust me, the world will sell you limitation every single day. So how do you shift that? It starts with awareness. You've got to catch yourself in those moments where your mind starts to drift toward fear or doubt. Because every thought you think is either moving you closer to your dreams or further away from them. There's no neutral ground. Your thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you plant and water grows. If you plant negativity, you'll harvest excuses. If you plant vision, you'll harvest victory. Now I want you to imagine something. Imagine your life is a movie and you're both the director and the lead actor. If you walked into the theater of your own mind right now, what kind of movie would you see playing? Is it a film of courage, determination, and purpose? Or is it one of hesitation, regret, and self-doubt? Because here's the truth. Every story is playing in your mind is exactly the story that will play out in your life. When you start thinking differently, everything around you begins to shift. The way you speak, the way you move, the energy you bring, it all changes. You start attracting different people, different opportunities, different outcomes. Because the mind doesn't just observe reality. It creates it. You've got to start training your brain to work for you, not against you. Every morning, the world grabs hold of your attention. Prime your mind. Feed it with clarity, purpose, gratitude. Say to yourself today, I decide what I focus on. I decide who I am becoming. I decide how I respond. Because you can't control everything that happens around you, but you can always control what happens within you. When I talk to high achievers, the difference isn't that they don't have negative thoughts. They do. The difference is they don't live there. They redirect fast. They recognize the power of focus. Whatever you focus on, you feel. And whatever you feel consistently, you create. So if you focus on fear, you'll feel stuck. Focus on opportunity, feel empowered. Focus on gratitude, and suddenly you'll start noticing blessings everywhere you look. This isn't wishful thinking. It's mental conditioning. It's about wiring your nervous system to expect growth instead of struggle, solutions instead of problems, expansion instead of limitation. Because when your mind believes something is possible, your entire body starts acting in alignment with that belief. Your energy changes, your confidence rises. You start taking action from a place of certainty, not hesitation. Think about this. Every invention, every breakthrough, every empire ever built started as nothing more than an idea. Someone thought it first. The phone in your pocket, the building you're sitting in, the clothes you're wearing, all of it began in someone's mind before it existed in the world. That's how powerful thought is. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you think about with intention, clarity, and conviction. So if you want to change your life, stop trying to change your circumstances first. Start by changing your thoughts. Don't wait for proof. Don't wait for someone to believe in you. You decide now that your thoughts are powerful enough to create a new reality. Because they are. The truth is, most people underestimate the compounding power of one upgraded thought. A single decision to think differently about yourself, your future, potential, that's the spark that starts the fire. The moment you shift your thinking from why me to why not me, everything starts to open up. You begin to see possibilities where you used to see problems. Your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. If you want a bigger life, build a bigger mindset. If you want stronger results, develop stronger thoughts. Your mind is the engine, your life is the vehicle. Don't let it idle. Put it in gear, steer it with intention, and drive it toward your vision. Because once you learn to master your thoughts, you'll realize something extraordinary. Your life has been waiting for you to take the wheel all along. Desire, it's the fuel that makes everything move. It's the invisible force that pushes a human being beyond what's reasonable, what's comfortable, and into the realm of the impossible. Without it, the greatest ideas die as daydreams. With it, even ordinary people do extraordinary things. But here's what most people don't understand. Wanting something isn't enough. Everyone wants something. Everyone says they want to be successful, fit, fulfilled, free. But the truth is, most people don't really want it, not with the kind of hunger that burns through every excuse. They want the outcome, not the effort. The reward, not the responsibility, and that's why they stop. Desire, real desire, isn't some soft emotion. It's not wishing, it's not hoping, it's hunger. It's that feeling in your gut that says, I can't stay where I am any longer. It's that deep, restless fire that keeps you awake at night because you know you're meant for more. You feel it in your bones. You can't silence it. And once you've felt that kind of desire, you can't go back to sleepwalking through life again. Think about it. Every breakthrough in history started with someone who wanted it more than the world wanted to stop them. That's the difference. Desire makes you resourceful. When the world says no, desire finds another door. When the plan fails, desire builds a new one. When you hit the wall, desire says, fine, I'll climb it, break it, find a way through it. That's the power of wanting something so deeply that it consumes you in the best way possible. When you want something at that level, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop saying, maybe later. You stop needing external motivation. You don't need anyone to push you because the fire inside is pulling you. That's when you cross from interest into commitment. And that's the shift that changes lives. I've seen people go from broke to abundant, unhealthy to unstoppable, lost to driven, not because they suddenly got lucky, but because they reached a moment of absolute clarity. A moment when they said, no, done living below my potential. That's the moment when wanting turns into resolve. And once you have resolve, you become unstoppable. There's a kind of energy that shows up when you're truly committed. You walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You start radiating something that other people can feel. They may not understand what it is, but they can sense it, that intensity, that purpose, that spark. And the world begins to respond to that energy. Opportunities start appearing. The right people start showing up, not by magic, but because you've tuned your frequency to what you want. When you want something with passion, you start moving differently. You act with intention. You think with precision. You're no longer driven by comfort, you're driven by purpose. And that's when desire transforms from an emotion into a strategy. Because here's the truth. Desire without direction is chaos, but desire with clarity is creation. If you want to know what you truly desire, look at where your energy goes. Look at what keeps you up at night, what you think about when no one's watching, what you talk about with excitement in your voice. That's your heart pointing you toward your path. Desire must be claimed. You've got to give yourself permission to want what you want without guilt, without hesitation, without apology. Because the moment you do, your life starts moving toward it. Some people bury their desires because they've been told it's unrealistic, selfish, or impossible. But I want to remind you of something. The desire placed in your heart isn't random. It's a calling. It's life itself trying to express more through you. It's your potential knocking on the door, saying, let me out. Let me see what's possible. You were not born to shrink your wants to fit someone else's comfort zone. You were born to expand your world to meet your deepest desires. And yes, there will be challenges. There will be people who doubt you, moments that test you, days when you feel like giving up. But when your desire is strong enough, you'll keep going because the pain of discipline will always be lighter than the pain of regret. You'll realize that no obstacle is greater than your reason for starting. That's when you truly become dangerous because a human being driven by genuine desire cannot be stopped. You can't fake that level of hunger. It shows up in how you live. It shows up in your eyes, in your tone, in your energy. You want something with your whole being, you start attracting the means to make it happen. You stop waiting for perfect conditions and start creating them. You stop making excuses and start making progress. Desire is what separates the watchers from the winners, the talkers from the takers, the dreamers from the doers. When you want it enough, the path reveals itself. The resources appear, the people align, because life responds to intensity. Life responds to focus. Life responds to hunger. So if you want to change your life, stop asking for permission. Stop waiting for someone to hand you the roadmap. Just decide. Decide that your desire matters more than your doubt. Decide that you're done living halfway. Decide that from this moment forward, your hunger will lead your habits, and your habits will create your destiny. Because once you truly want it, with that kind of hunger that burns away every excuse, the universe has no choice but to get out of your way. Belief, that's the bridge between your vision and your reality. You can think it, you can want it with all your heart, but until you believe it's possible for you, it will always stay out of reach. Belief is the switch that turns potential into power. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. You can have all the knowledge, all the strategies, all the tools in the world. But if deep down you don't believe you're capable, you'll never use them with conviction. And here's the thing, your belief system is not built on truth. It's built on repetition. You believe what you've heard, what you've experienced, what you've told yourself over and over again. If you've repeated disempowering stories long enough, they start to feel like facts. You say, I'm not good enough. I always fail. Things never work out for me. And the mind, loyal as it is, says, okay, let's make that true. But belief can also work in your favor. The moment you choose a new story, the moment you start telling yourself, I am enough. I can create change. I am capable of more. Your brain starts reorganizing itself to make that new story a reality. That's not fantasy, that's focus. That's how your subconscious works. It listens to the words you use, watches the images you visualize, and it takes them as instructions for how to shape your life. You see, the world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you expect. If you expect struggle, you'll find it everywhere. If you expect growth, start to see opportunities that were always there, just hidden behind your old beliefs. Belief doesn't change the world outside of you. It changes what you notice, what you chase, and what you fight for. When you believe something is possible, you start to move differently. You take action with certainty. You speak with conviction. You make decisions faster. And life starts responding to that energy. Confidence is contagious, not just to others, but to your own nervous system. Every time you follow through on a belief, you reinforce it. You tell your mind, see, I was right to trust myself. And that's how momentum builds. The problem is most people wait for proof before they believe. They say, I'll believe I can succeed once I start seeing results. But it doesn't work that way. Belief always comes before evidence. Faith isn't pretending. It's seeing the unseen before it becomes seen. Every champion, every innovator, every leader believed before there was proof. They walk by vision, not by validation. You have to understand something. Belief is not about arrogance. It's not about saying you're better than anyone. It's about certainty in your potential. It's about knowing that no matter what's happened before, you still have the power to write a different ending. You might have failed 100 times, but belief whispers, try again. You might have been told you're not enough, but belief says, shmee, that inner voice, that quiet conviction is what carries you through the storms. There's a moment in everyone's life when they're standing on the edge of a breakthrough, but that final step requires faith. It's like standing at the edge of a cliff and knowing the bridge will only appear once you start walking. That's belief. It's scary. It's uncertain. But it's the only way to cross into a new version of yourself. You've got to protect your belief like your life depends on it, because it does. People will project their fears onto you. They'll tell you what's realistic, what's possible, what you shouldn't do. Understand this. Their limitations don't have to become your truth. Don't borrow someone else's fear and call it logic. Just because they couldn't do it doesn't mean you can't. Start building your belief like a muscle. Every day, do something that reinforces your identity as someone who can. Keep promises to yourself. Follow through on the little things. Each small win becomes another brick in the foundation of unshakable belief. When you fail, because you will, don't let that failure confirm your doubt. Let it confirm your courage. It means you're in the arena. It means you're alive, trying, growing, evolving. Belief is not built in comfort. It's built in resistance. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your faith in yourself. Every obstacle you overcome becomes proof that you're capable of more than you thought. And once your belief gets strong enough, it becomes unstoppable. You don't need to fake confidence. It radiates naturally. You stop hoping things will work out and start knowing they will, because you trust yourself to figure it out no matter what. Remember, your life will always rise or fall to the level of your beliefs. You can't live beyond what you believe you deserve. So if you want to expand your life, expand your sense of what's possible. Stop asking, can I? And start declaring. That shift in language, that shift in energy changes everything. Because once you truly believe, not just wish, not just hope, but believe, every cell in your body, every thought in your mind, every action you take begins moving in harmony toward your vision. And that's when impossible stops being a word and starts being a challenge. There comes a point where thinking and wanting aren't enough. You can have the most powerful vision, the strongest desire, and the deepest belief. But if you don't take massive action, nothing changes. The bridge between the life you dream of and the life you live is built with action. Thinking prepares you. Believing strengthens you. Action transforms you. Most people get stuck in the space between knowing and doing. They read the books, they attend the seminars, they plan and plan and plan, but they never move. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, the ideal set of circumstances. And that's why they stay where they are. Because perfection never comes. The only perfect moment you'll ever get is the one you're in right now. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. You don't figure life out before you start. You figure it out as you move. The path reveals itself only after you take the first step. People who succeed aren't always the ones with the best plan. They're the ones who act when everyone else hesitates. They start messy, they fail fast, they adjust. And because they keep moving, they keep growing, action has a power to it, an energy that thought alone can't produce. Once you take that first step, momentum kicks in. You start to feel alive again. Your confidence grows because you've proven to yourself that you're not someone who just talks, you're someone who moves. Every time you follow through, you're reinforcing a new identity, the identity of a doer, not a dreamer. Here's the thing, massive action doesn't mean frantic action. It doesn't mean doing 100 random things just to feel busy. It means doing the right things with intensity and focus. It means moving with purpose. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter and braver. Because action without direction burns energy, but action with intention builds results. You've got to take that desire that burns inside of you and give it form through movement. Do something today that pushes you closer to your goal. Make the call, send the message, sign up for the class, take the risk. You'll be amazed how fast life starts responding when you move from intention to execution. Think about it. Nothing great has ever been created by waiting. Every innovation, every revolution, every success story started when someone finally said, enough talking, it's time to move. Action breaks fear. Because the moment you start doing, your brain stops imagining every possible way it could go wrong and starts focusing on how to make it work. You stop being paralyzed by what if and start creating what is. And yes, you will fail, you'll stumble, you'll make mistakes, you'll question yourself. That's part of the process. But failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Every mistake you make teaches you something that thinking never could. You can read 100 books on swimming. Until you jump in the water, you'll never learn how to swim. Experience is the greatest teacher, and it only comes through action. Too many people let fear of failure keep them from even starting. What's worse? Failing or spending your life wondering what could have been. Regret weighs more than risk ever will. You'll never look back and wish you tried less. You'll only wish you'd acted sooner. Action requires courage, not comfort. It means stepping into uncertainty, moving before you feel ready, trusting that you'll figure it out as you go. That's what growth feels like. It's uncomfortable. It stretches you, it forces you to evolve. That discomfort is a sign that you're in motion, and motion is where transformation lives. Every step you take compounds. Small, consistent action over time builds unstoppable momentum. Don't underestimate the power of one disciplined day. Bold decision, one committed step. Success isn't built in giant leaps, it's built in daily movement. Little by little, you carve a new path. And then one day, you look back and realize you're no longer the same person. You've become someone who doesn't wait for opportunity, you create it. When you act with certainty even before you feel ready, you start training your nervous system for confidence. You show your brain that you don't need guarantees, you need guts. And once you prove that to yourself, fear loses its grip on you. The moment you take action, you shift from being a spectator to being a creator. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. So whatever dream has been sitting in your heart, stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop convincing yourself you need more time, more money, more experience. You already have everything you need to start. The resources you think you lack will reveal themselves once you begin. Life rewards movement, not hesitation. Remember, success isn't about what you think you can do, it's about what you actually do. Ideas are worthless without execution. Vision means nothing without movement. The dream becomes real the moment you act on it, because at the end of the day, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is measured by the actions you take starting now. Discipline. This is where greatness is forged. This is where dreams either die or come alive. It's not the big wins that shape your destiny. It's the small choices you make every single day when no one's watching. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's repetition. It's doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's the quiet consistency that separates the successful from the stuck. You see, motivation is beautiful. It gives you that spark, that rush of energy that makes you want to move. But motivation fades. It's built on emotion. Emotion changes with the weather. One day you're inspired, the next day you're tired. If you rely only on motivation, you'll build a life of inconsistency. Bursts of effort followed by long stretches of frustration. Discipline, though, that's different. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you moving forward when motivation runs dry. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary didn't get there because they always felt like it. They got there because they trained themselves to do it anyway. They built the muscle of consistency. And that's exactly what discipline is, a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The less you use it, the weaker it becomes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up day after day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. The world rewards the disciplined. Because when you're consistent, you build momentum. And momentum is magic. It's what turns small efforts into massive results. Every time you push yourself to follow through, even when it's uncomfortable, you're telling your mind and body, I'm in control. You start trusting yourself more. You start believing that if you say you'll do something, you will. That's how self-respect grows, not from what you promise, but from what you deliver. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about freedom. It's about knowing that your future self can rely on your present actions. It's the foundation of confidence, because confidence doesn't come from shouting affirmations. It comes from keeping commitments. You prove to yourself that you can count on you, life changes. You stop doubting, you stop hesitating, and you start creating. You have to understand something. Your brain will always choose comfort over growth if you let it, to protect you, to conserve energy, to avoid pain. But growth doesn't live in comfort. Every time you choose discipline over ease, you're training your mind to follow your lead instead of the other way around. That's how you build mental toughness. That's how you develop the kind of focus that can't be shaken by distraction, doubt, or delay. Think about athletes at the highest level. You see them in the spotlight holding the trophy. What you don't see are the early mornings, the countless repetitions, the days when their body ached and their mind screamed to stop. What kept them going wasn't excitement. It was discipline, that unwavering commitment to the process, because they understood that the reward doesn't come from doing it once. It comes from doing it again and again and again. Discipline is the art of doing the right thing long enough for it to pay off. Most people quit too soon. They plant the seed, it for a week, and then give up because they don't see results. But the disciplined know that the roots grow before the fruit shows. They trust the process. They keep showing up, knowing that every small step compounds into something unstoppable. Will be days when you're tired, when you feel unseen, when progress feels slow. Those are the days that count the most. Because if you can act powerfully on the days you feel powerless, you're unstoppable. Discipline means you've decided your vision matters more than your mood. You don't negotiate with your goals. You honor them. Consistency is how you build momentum, and momentum is how you create transformation. It's not about one big effort. It's about stacking wins. You work on yourself today and tomorrow and the next day until the habits become part of who you are. The gym, the grind, the journaling, the studying, they stop being tasks and become your identity. You stop trying to be disciplined and start being disciplined. And when you live like that, everything changes. You stop chasing motivation because you realize you don't need it anymore. You've built systems that run even when you're tired. You've built habits that move you forward even when the emotion isn't there. That's what creates unstoppable people, not talent, not luck, not timing, but relentless consistency. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your greatness. It's the invisible force that transforms potential into power. And when you master it, you start seeing results that compound far beyond what you imagined. Because it's not what you do once in a while that defines your destiny. It's what you do every single day. So remember this, discipline is not a restriction. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. It's you saying, I'm worth the effort. My dreams are worth the sacrifice. And when you live that way, the life you want stops being a possibility and starts being a promise. When you finally get what you've been chasing, when the vision in your mind becomes the reality in your hands, there's this rush that hits you where all the struggle, all the late nights, all the sacrifices suddenly make sense. But here's what most people never talk about. Success isn't the end. It's a chapter. You do after you get it determines whether your life expands or starts to shrink. See, some people reach their goal and instead of growing, they slow down. They stop pushing, stop stretching, stop evolving. They let the very success they worked so hard for become the ceiling that holds them back. But real achievers, the ones who keep rising, understand something deeper. They know that gratitude and growth are what keep the fire alive. Gratitude gives meaning to success and growth gives it direction. When you live with gratitude, you start seeing the world differently. You stop taking things for granted and start realizing how far you've actually come. Gratitude grounds you. It reminds you of the journey, of the people who helped you, of the lessons that shaped you. It turns pressure into privilege. You stop thinking, look how hard this is, and start thinking, how blessed I am to be able to do this. That shift changes everything, because without gratitude, success feels empty. You can have everything, money, status, recognition, and still feel unfulfilled. But when you're grateful, even the small wins feel like miracles. Gratitude isn't about settling, it's about appreciating what you have while still reaching for more. It's the balance between contentment and hunger. It's saying, I'm thankful for where I am. I'm excited for where I'm going. And that's where growth comes in. Gratitude fills your heart, but growth fuels your future. The moment you stop growing, you start dying inside. Human beings are designed to expand, to evolve, to become more. The joy of life isn't in reaching the mountaintop, it's in climbing it. Because once you stop stretching yourself, you lose that spark, that sense of purpose that drives fulfillment. Growth means asking, what's next? Not out of greed or restlessness, but out of a deep desire to see what else you're capable of. It means taking everything you've learned and using it to create, to contribute, to lift others higher. The greatest joy in success is not what you get. It's who you become and how many lives you touch along the way. But growth doesn't happen automatically. It requires intention. It means being humble enough to realize that no matter how far you've come, there's still more to learn. It means surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, not just cheer for you. It means staying curious, staying open, never letting comfort become your home. Comfort is the enemy of progress. The moment you start protecting what you've built instead of expanding it, you start slipping backward. And here's the truth. Gratitude and growth feed each other. Gratitude gives you peace. Growth gives you purpose. Gratitude reminds you of how blessed you are. Growth reminds you of how capable you are. Together, they keep you balanced, centered, and moving forward with joy. Sometimes people think that once they achieve their dreams, life will feel complete. But the real reward isn't the achievement itself. It's the evolution that happens inside you. Every challenge you faced, every risk you took, every time you refused to quit, that's what shaped your character. That's the real prize. Success without growth fades. Success without gratitude feels hollow. But success built on both becomes a legacy. Think about it. The people who inspire the world aren't just the ones who achieve a lot. They're the ones who stay grounded, who stay hungry, who keep giving back. They don't just collect trophies, they create impact because they understand that getting what you want isn't the finish line. It's the starting line for a bigger life. So when you get it, when you finally hit that milestone, take a breath, look around, feel it, appreciate every ounce of the journey that brought you there. But then don't stop. Don't let gratitude turn into complacency. Let it turn into fuel. Let it remind you that the same discipline, belief, hunger that got you here will take you even further. Keep asking, how can I grow? How can I serve? How can I become even more? Because the ultimate fulfillment doesn't come from achieving once. It comes from evolving forever. It comes from becoming a person who not only reaches goals, but raises standards for yourself, for your family, for everyone who crosses your path. That's the real secret. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Growth keeps you alive. When you live with both, you never run out of purpose, you never run out of passion, and you never stop becoming more of who you were meant to be. Because the moment you stop growing, you stop living.